you're one of the main reasons I'm actually here.
Thank you so much.
I followed your career from Leverage to Angel. I didn't really get that. I couldn't figure out whether or not you're actually a good guy playing a bad guy or a bad guy playing a good guy.
On Leverage or which one?
In Angel.
Well, that's kind of my theme. I mean, even on Leverage, am I a good guy or am I a bad guy? You never really know.
Well, you're a heavy hitter, that's much that I did know. And to librarians. But my question relates to your singing.
Yeah.
I only recently found out that you do sing. And I also know that James Masters sings.
Yep.
So when he was on Angel, did you and he manage to sing together, or did you talk about your singing and what styles of singing you'd like to do, or anything like that?
It's very funny. Me and James played together a lot, actually, because we were on Angel, and James actually gave me something that I still have at my house because it came from James. But he gave me this little thing that I saw him playing. In his trailer, he had an electric guitar, and I had a guitar, and he had the cord, and he plugged it into a Marlboro Lights package. And what it was this little amp that he found online. It looked like a Marlboro Light box, but it was an amp, and he played out of that just so you could hear, you know. And he gave me one. He brought me one the next day. And when we had time off, James would just come in the trailer, and me and him would just sit there and like play guitar and talk music like for a long. I mean, this is hours upon hours sometimes that we had. So yes, me and James, who's one of my dearest friends, I see him 3-4 times a year. As a matter of fact, when I get back, I'm going to his house to do a. I don't know what it is. It's a video game thing that he's doing, like some sort of video game, like where he talks about video games and stuff. I'm going to do that, but we always played music together, man. I love James, and he's a good guy. Thank you for that question. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
Hi.
It's wonderful that you've come to Australia. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And as an actor, you often have to audition for things, and it's, I imagine, always difficult. Did you have any particular memories about auditioning for Leverage in particular, or anything?
I do. You know, it was funny because I didn't audition for Librarians. They offered me the role because John Rogers and me and Dean had all worked together. But there's a really great story about Leverage. When I went in for Leverage, and all right, I'll start from the beginning because it's a really funny story. So I was in Nashville doing my movie. I was doing my first record with Sony that didn't get released. I was with Sony, and we were doing an album, and they called and said, my agent called, sent me the script to Leverage, and I said, and this is very funny because I just got done playing Lindsay McDonald, and now I got this dude named Elliot Spencer. I'm like, can't I just get a cool name, like, you know, like Vader or Angel or, you know? And so they sent me this script, and I opened up the script in Nashville, and I looked at it, and it said, Elliot Spencer walks into a bar wearing wire-rimmed glasses, sipping a cup of tea. Threw it on the couch, missed the couch, hit the wall, fell behind the couch. 2 days later, my agent called and said, hey, what'd you think about that? And I was like, that's not for me, man. He goes, what do you mean it's not for you? I said, I'm like, this is not for me. I'm not playing this stupid freaking role. He goes, well, John Rogers wrote it with you in mind. And I said, John Rogers? He goes, yeah. He goes, Dean Devlin's. I said, Dean Devlin? Dive under the couch, into the spider webs, pull it back out, and it's like Elliot Spencer wearing wire-rimmed glasses, walks in and sipping a cup of tea, and kicks the shit out of everyone in the bar. Oh my God! So I'm like speed reading this thing as I'm on the phone. I go, I'm on a flight right now. I'm on a flight. So I flew from Nashville. They'd already had auditions because they didn't think I wanted to do it. And I flew in the last day and went in when all the girls were auditioning for Parker, and it was just me. And I did the audition. He showed it to Dean. They loved me. They wanted to test me. So I walked in knowing the role was mine. It was mine to lose. A couple of my friends that will remain nameless who didn't get the role were also in there. In the elevator, I also know something. I was very privileged because I know who was supposed to play Hardison, and it was not Aldous Hodge. And the guy had the role already, just like me. And if you ask Dean Devlin, he'll tell you the story and probably tell you who it is. And he was in there. But in the elevator, I get in the elevator and I bump into this 21-year-old kid at the time. It was his birthday. And it was Aldous Hodge. We'd never seen each other, we'd never spoke. And I'm riding up the elevator and I go, you going up for this? He was like, yeah, man. Yeah. I was like, cool. And something hit me. And I looked over at him, and I already knew who was getting the role. He had no chance. And I said, hey man, I go, I know you don't know me, but you're getting ready to get this role. This is a true story, you can ask Aldis. He's like, oh, thanks, man, you know? And we walked in, we got out of the elevator, and you go to sign in. So you walk through the door, high five your friends, because I knew half the guys in there, you know what I mean? You sign in, and I walked out, and Aldis did the same thing. And Aldis plopped his ass right in front of that elevator and sat there, and I paced back and forth. Everyone else is in the room talking about other shit they've done or whoever they're dating at the time. We were out there going over this in our head. And I remember that. Aldis was sitting here and I was pacing back and forth. We didn't say a word to each other. I go in, Aldis went in, then he left. I high-fived him on the way out. I went in, I did my thing, I left. I got the call the next day, said they want you. I said, awesome. They said, wardrobes tomorrow at 12. Showed up at noon, Aldis was there. We gave each other a hug, and he's my best friend to this day. And that's actually a true story of how that happened, man. Aldis went in and beat that guy's ass, man. He won that role. If you ever get an opportunity to ask Dean Devlin about that, ask Dean Devlin about it, because he'll tell you. But, and I don't want to put names out there because I don't want to take anything away from friends. But Aldis did not have the role. I had the role. It was mine to lose. I won the role. Aldis really won the role. So that's my best friend today. So there you go, man. Awesome. Thank you for that question. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
The writers on Leverage were said to have a lot of hard rules about what could or couldn't happen in an episode. Some being, for instance, Sterling never loses and Elliot never loses a fight. Were there any other hard rules about the characters like that?
This is a great question. I haven't even thought about that. If you take Sterling out, played by the great Mark Shepard, who's a dear friend of mine. If you take Sterling out, there's nobody that could have never beat us. You know what I mean? We would have won every time. So that was a huge thing, that Sterling never loses, because if we don't have someone that can take us down, we become superheroes and it's not believable. There was also a hard rule that, like what John said, whatever we did on that show was able to do. Hardison can hack your phone. I mean, all this stuff that we did on that show can actually happen. They took it from headlines. John Rogers is not only who created the show, is not only a stand-up comedian, he's also a physicist. Literally a physicist. He's the smartest man I know. If I was on Want to Be a Millionaire, he would be my lifeline. And so he always he never wanted to, we suspended belief, but the stuff we did could actually happen. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about me fighting 7 guys, but you know, all the technology and stuff was actually there. It may have taken a little bit longer to do it because we're on TV, but that was one of the rules. They wanted to make sure that we stayed true to the books. And John, you know, John was, you know, he had a couple of people, I think in Washington, he could call if he needed a favor done or ask a question. But as far, there was no hard rule about Elliot losing a fight. I lost a couple of them, but sometimes we lost them because that was just part of the con, you know. I mean, so I was like, but these guys, they were some of the best writers I've ever worked with in my life. And the fact is, the reason I love them so much is because when you're that talented as a writing group, and especially when John Rogers is at the helm, most people, like other shows, like Angel, you cannot go away from the script. You have to say everything as written. This thing, man, as long as we got from A to B and used their words and used their concept, they allowed us to do a little bit of ad-libbing and get there on our own. And I remember it was really funny because most writers are very into their head and very cocky, which rightly so. But I remember one scene John wrote just said, it said Hardison and Elliot enter the bar and talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about until they get over to Gina and she has that, you know what I mean? So me and Aldis just made some baseball stuff. I think it was the baseball story where we were both in the cop outfit. We've got the baseball bat. And we walk over. It's after that. Anyway, whatever we said was just something that me and Aldis came up with. And for most people, that doesn't happen on a TV show. And with us, we got a lot of leniency. They always gave us just enough rope where we wouldn't hang ourselves. And so it was awesome. Thank you for that question, man. That's great. Yes, I don't know what. Yes, man.